They didn't have to bring the ore from far.
Yeah.
But Ore Hill was probably the single biggest. And we have a lot of interesting, somewhat conflicting information about that. It started out as an open pit, we know for sure, because we have a wonderful 1875 picture of it that shows this giant hole in the ground. And there's a train trestle going across the top of it. And then they went into drift mining, and so they tunneled out from that. And Wallace claims that it got to eventually B&R bought Ore Hill. Wallace claims it got down, not the pit, but the tunnels got down to 850 feet. And there are literally miles of them like spaghetti on a plate. In 1904, a guy named Rudd surveyed them. Now, in those days, you used a compass to do surveying. It ain't going to be much help in an iron mine. So I don't know how he did it, but he did it. He made a planar projection out of all these tunnels. And so you can't really tell which one's over what. And apparently it was a real maze of tunnels down there, and that ran until 1923. And so if it really went down to 850 feet, there was a substantial amount of ore there. Deep Lake, that was not completely exhausted. They got down to a certain depth, but you could see the iron heads to the south toward Sharon, and they didn't follow it. There's some wonderful woodcuts of that show the actual shape of the ore body. There's a continuous ore body from Ore Hill right on up to Jug End. And I know there's at least 3 mines on Undermountain Road over here. The Scoville one is the largest, but there are 2 more that are smaller. And in one case, there's still a pile of ore sitting there waiting to be shipped. There are all these, stories about what got left in there. Supposedly, Ore Hill flooded very quickly, and so it's full of equipment. My claimed that when he was a kid, that someone of his neighbors had the salvage contract for it, but the water was too high, they could only get a few things out. And one of the things that was in there was an electrical substation and a big bunch of synchronous motors with bronze pumps that were used to pump it out. And once they shut those off, the water came up much faster than anybody imagined, and all that stuff got left down there. So if that's true, there's motors and pumps and wires and tools and all kinds of other stuff down there in those tunnels. And there are similar stories of the mines over here on Undermountain were all drift mines, including one that was rather cleverly done. They entered the hill and then they tunneled up, so the water just ran out. They'd have to pump it. And that's what fills Merrill Streep's pond over here, is runoff from those mines.